Okay, like in this video we're going to look at slices and the ability of slices to filter a pivot table or even a group of pivot tables. Now once again, they're primarily used to filter information. Many times slices will be used in a dashboard. And once again, what a dashboard is that you can use that slicer to graphically show how you're filtering your information. A dashboard would enable somebody not that familiar with Excel or pivot tables to filter the information contained within those tables. So let's begin by looking at the region sheet. Our pivot table is here. The name of that pivot table is also called region. Okay, how we go about creating our slices, well, one way of bringing them up is that you're within options. We can click on insert slicer and then click on insert once again, insert slices. Right now we have none. We're within this pivot table and it's bringing up all the various field names. Again, same as over here. So everything is being driven by the field names within that table. So we're going to initially choose the date field as a slicer, the region field as a slicer, customer, and also years. So we've chosen date, region, customer, and years. Very similar to the pivot tables that we've already created. And I'll throw in age also. Click on OK. We have all of our slices. Now you can kind of drag them over and resize them, and we're going to do that in a minute. Let's begin by clicking on region, dragging it over. Customer, dragging it over. Again, you can drag and drop them. Bringing our years over here. Our dates, or the months of the year. And also age. So we have 5 slices: region, customer, years, date, and age. And they're basically based upon the field names within our pivot table. Now we pull them out, so we click on options, and then inserted our slices. Okay, we've created our 5 slices. It's important to note that it's very easy to resize the slicer and also apply a style. You would just click on the slicer, select it. Right now I've selected the region slicer. I can come up here and then pick an appropriate style. I'm going to leave mine as they are. Many people do like to choose a specific style. So I'm just going to resize this. It's one column. There's a lot of white space here. So what I'm going to do is, we've selected the slicer, go down to the corner, and where I get that 2-edged arrow, hold down my left mouse and pull it up. So we've made it a little bit smaller. We're not using up quite as much space. I could even make it a little bit less wide, or decrease the width by pulling it over here. Let's take our customer slicer. I'm going to drag it up here. I grabbed it by its title, held down the left mouse, dragged it over here, and I'm going to resize that. Once again, I could choose a style, but I'm not. I just want to resize it. It's up here, selected. I'm going to go to the corner and drag it out. Still only one column. But I can now go up. Once again, we're in the Options tab, and where it's saying columns, I can change the number of columns that are showing. There's 2, there's 4. Want to do it to 3. Okay. So we have 3 columns. Probably come in here at the corner and drag up. So it's not quite as large. For years, select it, come to the corner, where I get my 2-edged arrow, hold down my left mouse and drag up. Age, probably the same deal. For age, let's try 2 columns, see what it looks like. Yeah, that's even better. So we have age, 2 columns. We have too much space there. 2-edged arrow, pull it up. Looks a little bit better. For the date, select it. Date we know has 12 months. So if we want to show it by quarter, what we could do is choose 3 columns. 3 columns would give us 4 quarters. Select it. That's selected. Okay. Let's make it a little bit wider. I'm going to move these back. Take my customer. Yes. Date. Age. So we have a good number of slices that we're trying to show. So we've taken our various slices and we've resized them. You can see up here there's a Y showing, but there is no filter that's been applied yet. I'll show you in a second what I mean by that. So we created these 5 slices, and we created them from the region pivot table. So let's click on the north area. We're going to come into the region slicer, click on north. What's now showing is that I've been able to filter that pivot table. It's now showing just the north, and my chart is only showing the north. If I hold down the control key, I can click the northeast, and now both the north and northeast are both showing. Likewise in my chart. I can hold down the control key again and click on west. Again, I'm holding down the control key to get these multiple selections. And my pivot table has been adjusted here and here. And they're all based upon the selections that I made in the region slicer. You can see it's highlighted for north, northeast, and also west. What I was saying here is that if we look over here, we have the Y, and there's a small red area, which means that there is a filter. And by clicking here, it comes back to its original state and all the filters have been removed. Likewise up here, there is no longer a Y showing. Click on north. The amount here is showing 1.7 million. And now we want to go down to our customer sheet. But that hasn't changed. Date, it hasn't changed. It's still showing the grand total. To really get the full value from a slicer, you want to be able to have just one set of slices, these 5 right here that we just drew out, and then have those slices impacting or influencing all of the pivot tables that we just created. It's actually quite easy to do. And it's a step, though, that a lot of people forget to do. Let's go up here and clear out our filters. Once again, another way of clearing out your filters. You could have done it here or here. So we're showing the grand total. Okay, what we're going to do in order to get these 5 slices to filter all of our pivot tables is we're going to take the following steps. And we need to do this with each of the slices, not just one of them, but each of the 5. So I'm going to start at the region slicer. Come over to it with that 4-headed arrow here. I can right click and go to pivot table connections. Click on it. And what this is saying here is that we have 4 pivot tables, the 4 that we created: age, customer, date, and region. We have a slicer called region, okay? So the slicer's name is region, and we wanted to impact each one of these 4 pivot tables. And I mean, how we do that? Check mark here, check mark here, check mark here. What that means is this slicer by the name of region will now also impact these 4 pivot tables. Finish that off by clicking OK. We're going to come to customer. I can click on that pivot table, and still another way of doing it is by clicking on options, come over to pivot table connections, and once again it's telling me that I have a slicer by the name of customer, and I have 4 pivot tables, and I want to connect to all 4 of them. Check mark here, here, here. Click OK. We'll go next to the years. We're at the years slicer. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get it. Right click, pivot table connections. We have the years slicer, and we need to put a check mark for age, customer, date, and region.